Just so you guys know, this is the only time you'll see me dressed up festive like this. Here's to the holidays.
After high demand,
Listening to you and Justin, that's a professional podcast right there.
the man with a voice.
He's got a wicked voice on it too. He does. He's got oh my goodness. I listen to his voice. I'm like, dude, you could go places with that voice. You are freaking phenomenal.
Has his own podcast. And what does he think?
Oh,
BoyStick presents the Honestly Lazy Podcast.
Hey, it's the Honestly Lazy Podcast. We are back at it. Welcome to it. It's your host, me, Mr. BoyStick, coming back at you live. Not live, actually. It's just the Honestly Lazy pre-recorded podcast. You're either watching this or listening to this one or two ways. I cannot do this with the fucking headphones on, so I'm going commando. If you are watching or listening to this, there's either one or two ways. You're listening on Spotify. Type in the Honestly Lazy Podcast and that shit pops up. And you're listening there, or you're listening or watching on YouTube. You know, same thing. Honestly Lazy Show or podcast. This shit will pop up. If you have been listening for a while and you're not subscribed or following, you should probably just do that. Because, you know, we made it till the end of the year, and I've only missed 2 weeks since I started this whole thing back up. Today on the podcast, it's just going to be a little bit of a rewind thing as I'm dressed appropriately. For the people who are watching on Spotify, I am wearing a Christmas sweater. This is the first one I've ever owned, and I'm wearing a Christmas hat, which I wear when I get drunk all year round. Don't want to talk about it. But yeah, at the end of the year, I'm wearing my first ever Christmas sweater. For you, if you can't see, it is a Simpsons sweater. Yeah, it's Homer burping, smiling, saying dough, and going woohoo. And I think there's a drunk one of him on there. No, it just has Duff beer all over it. And it's saying ho ho Homer. Literally saw this in the old Walmart, and I figured I should get it because a week ago I threw my second ever Christmas party. And we had a lot of fun, and I puked the next day from a hangover. So, pretty much Christmas is how it's supposed to be going so far. And if you're Jewish or something, happy holidays to you. I'm really blowing this. I just want to say, you know, to start this whole thing off, just a big thanks to everybody. You know, when I started the podcast back up, I really wasn't sure where I was going with it at that point. I mean, I felt like I took the big break just because of life and stuff. I took a big break. I wasn't really even thinking about the podcast at all. I wasn't really thinking about anything to do with content creating. And especially with the podcast, doing a 45-minute to an hour talking to yourself is something that I wasn't 100% sure I was even wanting to do ever again. I mean, the big thing that keeps bringing me back to doing this type of stuff is the fact that I love talking, and it's the closest I'll probably ever get to radio broadcasting because my dumbass didn't go to school for it. I sit there and wonder now if I went back, if I'd be in radio broadcasting as a career right now. But I mean, this is as close as I'll get unless I go back to school or I sneak my way in and become a radio MC. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting this shit since I've came back. It was a big step to come back here, and I mean, I feel like a lot of people are thinking, you know, my 1 year is coming up or it's already passed for this podcast, but to me, I feel like the 1 year of this podcast is officially when I restarted back in July, which is actually July 7th, my first episode that I aired. And in that time, I really was itching to do something with this camera and this microphone. And especially with what I was doing before on BoyStick with the commentary, it's a lot of work. And I mean, I love doing it. I had a lot of fun editing the BoyStick commentary videos and all that. But the big thing was when I was doing the BoyStick videos, I was laid off at the time, so I had all day to film and edit. Now I'm working a lot, and I don't really have the time like I did to edit videos. So, I mean, I sat there and I itched and I wanted to get back into it. I have all this equipment. I'm being stupid. Why am I not doing anything with it? And I mean, when I took the break, I thought it was done. I thought this whole podcast was done. I wasn't not interested in coming back to it. And you know, it was like the biggest thank yous to people who kept hounding me about it. And it wasn't too many people, but there were people in my life, I don't know, in my life who were asking me nonstop, like each time I saw them, even like, when's the next podcast coming out? Like, people were telling me, yo, I'm all caught up. When's your next episode coming out? And I mean, at that point, I told them I don't even have an idea. It might be done, you know. With only, I forget what I left it off at, like maybe 19, maybe even less. I'm pretty sure I gave up pretty early in it. I mean, the big thing was I ran out of shit to talk about pretty quick. And I mean, a lot of people are sitting there, like I tell that to people nowadays, like I still struggle sometimes to find stuff to talk about. Like, I've only done 15 episodes, and it's still somewhat of a struggle for me to talk about stuff. It's hard, like, the way that the podcast is going now, or how I'm doing it with the random video of the week and, you know, just news stories and different types of stuff like that. Like, yes, that's exactly what I really kind of wanted to do with the podcast. Like a radio show talking about news, like, you know, funny videos, making fun of videos, and then my own personal stuff. You know, really have the vibe of a morning radio show. And I mean, before I came up with that process, I didn't have anything. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to sit here and talk about one topic for 45 minutes to an hour and try to make it entertaining. And it was just not fun. But I mean, people started hounding me. Like, and it wasn't even like a bad thing. It was like, it was starting to motivate me for how much people were actually like, when are you going to make another podcast? So I was like, fuck, maybe I should get back into it. And once I moved into my new place that I'm living in now, it was like starting to feel right in a way. First of all, I didn't have the issues like I had at the old house I lived in, which I call the highway house, where, you know, have to hydro, go out, lose internet, just water issues. Pretty much every day was an anxiety attack coming home from work, wondering what the hell is going to be wrong with the house. And that kind of helped me ease into, you know, maybe I can do this again. Maybe I can give it another go. And I remember, like, so how I did it was I shot, I don't know, like, I think I shot three. I shot 3 pre-recorded episodes. And I think that's when Quinn Marr came in after that. So I had 3 weeks, brought Quinn Marr in, interviewed him. Figured the shit out with Ryan Wood. I think I interviewed Ryan Wood first, actually, from Mikes and Beers, and I started figuring out stuff like that. But I had 3 weeks to really figure out what to talk about next. And I mean, it's a lot of time, and I did think and find stuff to talk about, but I was like, damn, like, this isn't at all what I wanted. Like, I still wasn't having fun. And it kind of came down to, fuck, I'm back in where I was at the highway house when I was like, I don't even want to do this fucking podcast anymore because I wasn't having fun. It was like a chore almost. Like, I was like, I need to figure out something to make me want to do it every night. So, I mean, and that's where, like, I guess season 2 started. Like, I don't know what the fuck seasons are for podcasts. But when I changed it to the random video of the week and Q&As and news stories and all that, that's when season 2 officially started. And I mean, I've been having a lot of fun with it. And the way that it's been going has been amazing for me. Like, from, you know, I post trailers on TikTok. Like, I make little trailers for it. I post on Instagram and TikTok so everybody can see it. You know what I mean? I do, like, you know, I post it and, like, people at work are like, oh, that's sick, I saw your trailer. Or like, yeah, we checked out a little bit of your episode and stuff like that. And I mean, a few of them on YouTube hit 20 views, and to a lot of people, like, that's not a lot. And I'm like, that's a lot. Like, fuck. If I had 20 views, if I had 10 views, I'm fucking happy. When I hit a few where I hit 20, I was like through the fucking roof, like, holy shit. Like, it's weird to process this because I don't have a lot of subscribers, I don't get a lot of views, but I mean, just people I know and all that, they motivate me, because they will ask me about it, and because of them, I keep going with it. So I think I went off the road a little bit with that, but I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been supporting the living shit out of this podcast, because I mean, without you guys, I would not be as jolly as I am on the podcast. Shout out to everybody who even was like, I didn't have a lot of people send me questions for the Q&As, but some people would send more than one, you know, just so I had questions to answer. So shout out to those people, like to the people who did that. Shout out to, like I said, last episode I shouted him out. I'll shout him out again. Shout out to Jonesy. This guy, I gave him the shout out last week. He comes to work and he's fucking through the roof. Like, yo, that's sick. He shouted me out on Twitter. He was like trying to like send it to his friends and stuff. So shout out to him. Like, you know, shout out to the people. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and this will make absolutely no sense, but shout out to the people who don't listen to this podcast at all, but will sit there and I will talk about it, and they'll say that's sick, and they'll give me ideas, and they will, even though they don't listen, they'll be like, you should talk about this on the podcast. I know they don't listen, but they're like, you should talk about this. That'd be sick. I found you this video. You should make fun of this video on the podcast. You know, I gotta give a shout out to all those same people, because they inspire me too. So it's like, dude, if you want to help out, fuck yeah. I had a girl who has a big following on Instagram. She was like, give me like 10 minutes on your podcast, and I was like, done. Yeah, so in the new year, who knows what's gonna happen, you know? Hang on, my freaking door. Sorry, my cat is now in here watching me talk. And she was like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, people want to be a part of it. Like, you know, Ty Jones is coming on the podcast. He wants to be on it. And in the new year, there's probably going to be a lot of, I won't roll that up. I'm trying to roll up my sleeves. That's just habit. And there's like, in the new year, there's going to be a lot of different type of things that I want to do creatively, even, you know, to make this podcast even better, to make this like more like a radio show podcast than ever. Like, I've already started shooting this new little sequence. I mean, like 10 seconds in between like main topics, called the shower beer quote of the day. Just cause someone told, I literally drink, it's bad enough to say that I already drink shower beers every day. I have one in the shower after a long day of work. But a guy at work drew me up a fucking thing. Drew me up a logo, and he said, do something with it. And he gave me an amazing deal on it. Shout out to Bill. Leather Co. or something like that. This is not your official sponsor. He is going to sponsor the podcast, but this is not it. But just shout out to Bill, who I just said, can you draw this for me? And in 2 days, he fucking drew it for me. Like, that's how Bill works, you know? And it's like so local, this podcast, like local, that, you know, I'd just do it for the local people. I would also like to give a shout out to Suited Bird. You know how, that guy who at the end says the Honest Lazy podcast before it goes to the next thing, the voiceover work? That was my man Suited Bird from the States. That guy, I mean, he's the voice at the beginning of the podcast, doing like the edited voice, not the one who's talking about me. That's just from an old podcast from my buddy Bowden. Shout out to him too. But Suited Bird literally made this whole intro. He did all the editing. He edited and created that whole intro, and all I wanted was a voiceover done. And he literally just gave me this whole video, a whole intro. So shout out to Suda Bird, because I met him through a Reddit page and on Discord through small YouTubers. That motherfucker's killing it with views, by the way, doing awesome. And I literally just DM'd him one day saying, yo, can you do voiceover work for me? Just saying the Honestly Lazy podcast. Just give me a few takes that I can mess with. Next day, it was done. Like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it. Like, that shit right there proves to me, like, damn, like, this dude's still my homie. So shout out to Suda Bird. I'd like to give a shout out to Quinn Marr too. That motherfucker has been supporting me. Like, when the podcast came back, I was like, I want you back on. And he said, this Friday, I'm coming out. This motherfucker drove a half hour to come see me just to do this. We've had our ups and downs this year, Quinn and I. We really have, because I've flunked on him when he needed me to film and I couldn't do it. There was times where I was ready to film, but he got a different filmer because it was just easier that way. And there was times where he wanted to use my camera and I said no, like, it's my camera and I just didn't want to lend it out. And it's one of those things where I don't want Quinn Marr to hate me. He's a fucking great prankster and all of his shit's real. He's back into doing podcasting, which he was doing before me, and he is killing it at that. And I hope me and him can really get some shit together in the new year, because that guy and I, when we did the interview here, I had so much fucking fun that I just was like, damn, I need to make more content with that guy. I mean, but with me and him, if I want to film with him, I want to be a part of it. Like, I'll film you pranking, and I'll be your camera guy for that. But we're doing a vlog from my channel of us just hanging out and shit. That's what I want. And Quinn Marr, like, I'm sorry for not being the guy. I know I've bailed on you for filming every time. I'm sorry. My life's busy, but you know, I should make time for you, and I'm 100% sorry. And you know, shout out to his business. He's in marketing now, Quinn Marr Marketing. If you're a small business, he will help you out. So go check him out. And I hope in the new year, me and him will be able to make more content. I might as well just keep doing shout outs. Yeah, I don't, like, there's a lot more people I could shout out, but shout out to, this will be funny, shout out to Marshall and Dylan, I think his name's that. Marshall and Rick, that's it. Marshall and Rick. Shout out to those two. Those guys, I've heard, watch my podcast all the time. So shout out to you guys. I've heard it through the grapevine. You guys watch my shit. So thank you for the support. Shout out to my homie Nathan Breeze as well. That man gives me feedback. Loves the show, gives me feedback, and keeps me moving. Motherfucker, like, will message me and leave comments on the videos. Shout out to him. He's a big reason why I keep doing this, to entertain him. I mean, all he does is kill it on guitar for me, so I gotta entertain him somehow. And shout out to my lovely lady friend who literally deals with me filming 3 nights a week, staying in my office, and just because she knows how much I love doing this shit, you know. So I love my girlfriend, and she's the biggest fan of the podcast, and she will, you know, she believes that I can make it with this stuff when I don't, and when my views are low, or if I don't get any views, she'd be the first one saying, well, it was just that one video. She will always believe in me, and you know, shout out to her. I'm not really good at talking about that stuff with my girlfriend and stuff. Now, I would like to say, with the new segments and stuff, I've had a lot of fun with the new segments. The one thing I would want to say, or that I am going to say, is that my favorite random video of the week of the whole year. Well, I was gonna say making fun of the kid with the silo, but no. My favorite random video of the year is the squirrel. The guy who tried to take the squirrel as chimney. Just because you can see in the video the sheer joy I had while he got bit by a squirrel, because he did everything wrong and got what he deserved. That was probably my favorite video to talk about. I just wanted to say that for the end of the year, favorite random video of the week so far has been the squirrel and the man getting bit by the squirrel. Fucking hilarious. And if you haven't seen it, go watch that right now, because it's awesome. It's in a thumbnail on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, you gotta go on YouTube, because it's a video. Like this one, you have to see it all happen. It's not like this podcast where you can just sit there on your drive to work and listen to it. You have to actually fucking watch it, because I died. And you can see it in the video. Right when he gets bit, I fucking lose it. I would like to say, in the new year, like I said already, new things are coming. Like I said, shower beer quotes of the days will be part of the podcast. I'll probably start doing the merch thing. Probably ease up on selling it. I'll probably just buy some shit and just rock it and see how it looks first before I start trying to sell it. So I'll probably get into the merch. I'm not too sure about a website yet. Maybe. That's kind of up in the air, the website, the big thing. But another huge thing that I want to start doing, I've been talking about it, but in the new year, it's like I need to get this shit down. I want to start doing live streams. Just even on Fridays when the podcast comes out, it's like the podcast comes out on 5:30, I'm on at like 9. And I just want to talk to people. I want to see people. I just want to talk to fans, even though there isn't too many. But there will be a lot more live streaming in the future on Honestly Lazy Show on YouTube. So subscribe so you can see everything and you can be a part of the chat and all that type of good stuff. Because, I mean, it's been one hell of a good year for me. The only thing is I've gained weight. That's about it. But I mean, mentally, I feel like I've gotten a lot better since I moved from the highway house. I've been happier. I mean, I've been on such a fucking roller coaster for so many years. It's like finally I can chill out a little bit and kind of like enjoy life. Even though Omicron, that fucking third album of COVID, is really fucking us up. But this episode is not for that. This episode is not for anything but just to say thank you to everybody. 2021, you know what? I had a lot of fun. I actually did have a lot of fun during COVID. I still got to go to a few concerts. I got to go to Mossport 2022. I'll probably still get to go to Mossport. And, you know, I feel like 2022 will be a good year, especially for the content creating, because the way that it's going right now and how much fun I'm having doing it, I mean, what else do you really need? I have stories. I can always find stories. I can just talk about my own personal shit. But the podcast is the wheels are in motion, and I lost my bottle cap there. The wheels are in motion. Just keep doing it. There's going to be other things. There'll probably be vlogs. That's another thing I've been struggling with. I always want to vlog, but then it's usually like I'm drinking. I'm like, oh my god, we're going to have so much fun tonight. I should film. And I get too drunk and I forget to fucking film. So, you know, just be patient. There'll be cool little cutaways, like like Honestly Lazy podcast stuff. I'm going to start editing some more of those, because those are fun to edit. If there's one thing, I love playing random sounds, I made that Honestly Lazy one. The Honestly Lazy podcast. I made that. my own sound effects that I found on the internet for free. That's a lot of fun to do. I do have fun doing that. I'm not too sure what else to say. I mean, I just want to say thank you to everybody. If you asked me when I first started BoyStick if I'd be doing podcasting, I'd say no fucking way. And here we are. I'm 26, and I'm doing podcasting. And I'm curious to see what this is going to be like when I hit my 1 year, like gear wise and everything. Cause I am looking into buying some new gear. Maybe set up a little something, you know, like a curtain so you don't see a fucking thing there. A little setup, a little this like stage set, I guess. I don't know, something like that. There's going to be a lot of cool things coming in the future of the Honestly Lazy podcast, so be sure to be there. I think that'll do it. I'm not sure if I got everything I wanted to say, but I think I made a good point. Thank you to everybody. I'm having so much fun doing this, and I'm having a lot more fun just being here and making content. Even though not a lot of people listen, I don't care. I'm doing it just for the fun of it. And to everybody who does listen and watch, thank you very much. Go follow my social medias. BoyStick Instagram, BoyStick channel on Twitter, so you can stay up to date. Follow me on TikTok, BoyStick Clips. And let's go into the new year drunk as fuck and stay safe and happy holidays. Until the new year, because this is the last podcast until the first week of January. This is the last one. I know. I need the holidays to be with the family. I did this last year. I'm pretty sure this is when I disappeared. Or, no, I think I did February, and then I disappeared after that. So you got until February, then I'll probably be gone again. No, I'm just joking. So, until 2022, everybody stay safe out there. Have fun. Don't spend all your money in one place. I've done that. And I just realized you guys just heard a random sound from my computer because I always forget to turn that down, so I'm sorry about that. If you heard that earlier, it's the Honestly Lazy podcast, baby. You're going to hear random noises. But until next year, everybody stay safe, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in 2022. Hopefully COVID doesn't fuck us. Alright, everybody, have fun, stay safe. It's your boy Stick. I'm out. Peace.
Honestly Lazy Podcast.